My girlfriend refuses to get an abortion despite the doctor saying that she wouldn't survive giving birth. My GF 25F got pregnant by accident even though she was on birth control. After she went to the doctor because she kept puking morning sickness. She was told that she likely wouldn't survive since she had other health issues that would affect her. She refuses to get an abortion saying that she's more than capable to be a mom. She doesn't understand that this could kill her even after I explain it several times. I can't lose her but won't listen to anything I say about it. What should I do? Edit. Good news. After showing her some of the replies and messages and she finally understands what's at stake and has decided to book an abortion.
It sounds like the first order of things is to verify with confidence if 1. She is failing to understand the medical hazard in question. 2. She understands the hazard, but is in denial about it. And #X200B. I think there are different approaches to take according to which it is. The only thing I think that is the same is trying to emphasize that the medical issue isn't a judgment on her value or quality as a woman or mother, but rather simply a fact of medical reality. Then if it's number 1, perhaps see about an appointment with the doctor or someone at the doctor's office that can help her understand better. If it's number 2, then perhaps see if you can get her to visit a therapist, and provide the therapist the needed information to know the reality of the medical issue.
My understanding is if won't get an abortion, her doctor will work with her to increase her survival odds as much as possible. Something along the lines of strict bedrest until delivery, moving her into the hospital for observation, increased OB visits, potentially an early C-section based on her actual health then. Is that not the case here? Failing that, she and you should make preparations assuming the worst and figuring out childcare etc. Do you want to be a single dad? If so, what support do you have nearby? If not, are you giving the child up for adoption? Her doctor is the one to explain all the risks of carrying a baby to term, and giving birth, along with having her additional medical conditions. Not you. She and her doctor need to make this decision, knowing all the risks, and taking all extra precautions. It's her choice. I really find it odd that a doctor said right off that she wouldn't survive the birth. Many women who cannot withstand the stress of labor have planned C-sections. One last way to do it is if you tell her to make her will and put in order all her legal issues to a sudden death. Maybe that will snap her out. If that doesn't work, look for a specialized doctor and try to work it out. Hope for both of you this works well.
She's right, she's more than capable to be a mom. However, not a biological mom because, as you said, it'll kill her. A friend of mine has a heart issue where childbirth will induce cardiac arrest and she'll die. If she got pregnant, during the time she's carrying the child, it's likely she'd die from the risks associated with it and her heart condition. Your girlfriend seriously has to come to terms with this. It will legit be the difference between life and death.
Your girlfriend knows the risk and is willing to take it. At the end of the day, this is her choice to make. You can't force her to have an abortion. You can talk about it, yes, but you can't make this choice for her. Please, search for good obgyn who specializes in high-risk pregnancies. Best of luck to both of you. I hope everything ends well. This is clearly made up. It's hilarious how everyone is falling for it. LMAO.
Before you do anything, get a second opinion. Some doctors exaggerate the risk in situations like this. This is a bit questionable for me because conditions that cause birth to be dangerous are usually the same ones that make birth control risky and contraindicated.
First, having a child is always a decision you should take together. Same with keeping a child. Simply because you will both have the responsibility to take care of them. Second, she plans to let herself die and leave you with a child, so she already gives up on holding her part of the bargain on top of ignoring your opinion on it. So you'll end up raising a kid you didn't want on your own, resenting them for being the reason she died. If she just won't listen to you, call your friends and families. Her position is impossible to defend. No one will agree with her. If she still refuses to hear reason, then she's just lost it and need professional help. Get her to a psychiatrist, they will know what to do. Whatever you do and whatever she says, do not give up. Stay strong.
I would tell her that if she will not get an abortion and that the doctors are right and childbirth will kill her, get her to get her final wishes in place with her will sorted, maybe that will snap her out of it. If not, then at least you have all her wishes sorted if she does go though with the pregnancy and dies. Good luck.
She needs to sit down and have a very serious conversation with a medical professional, perhaps more than one, about the likely consequences of trying to carry the baby to term. Hopefully with you present. From there, you need to talk to her about what her plan is, what she expects to happen if she passes. Are you willing to be a single parent while grieving for the child's mother? If not, then who is she expecting to raise the baby? There is more to this than just her body, her choice, as she is potentially going to bring a life into the world with no mother. She needs to think about if this is what she would want for her unborn child. If not, but she desperately wants to be a mother, there are other ways to go about that than pregnancy and childbirth. Adoption, for example,
could kill her, not will kill her. I was in a similar situation. My issues were related to a previous severe car accident. My pelvis and my pubic bone each had major cracks in 3 places, amongst other severe injuries. My cervix is twisted. I was very high risk, no chance of natural birth. If I survived the pregnancy, I was told the birthing process would kill me. Had to have an emergency caesarean because I went into labor 4 weeks earlier than my scheduled caesarean. He was stuck in crowning position in the beginning of the birth canal. We both survived. He was healthy other than jaundiced due to being premature. My mother cried and begged me to abort. Glad I didn't. Info. What condition is endangering her? Why could it kill her?
Did you get a second opinion? A friend of mine heard this and ended up being totally fine. I'm sorry. I work in high-risk OB. There are very few conditions that can't safely be delivered one way or the other. I would recommend seeing a perinatologist, maternal-fetal medicine specialist to develop a safe plan.
What do you mean by she wouldn't survive giving birth? In cases like that, usually, a C-section is planned far in advance so a mother avoids labor and delivery. What is it that makes this so risky for your GF? Did you go with her to the doctor and hear exactly what the doctor said? Your shoes would do 2 things. First, sit down with your girlfriend and write up a timeline of future events including weeks on bed rest and a C-section. Next, I would write up a contingency plan of what you plan to do if you are a single father to a newborn. Finally, write up a list of questions for the OB to get a grip on exactly what is happening here and what the risks are. It's pretty rare today for an OB to get out tell Z patient, if you have this baby, you will die.
I was told the same thing with my first pregnancy and chose to abort. It was one of the hardest decisions I ever made and I did not deal with it well. I grew to resent the person I was with because he convinced me it was the best decision for us. I was willing to take the risk, but he was not. I ended up having complications from the abortion and have to have 2 more DNCs done and surgery to fix my insides. Please do not force her. It is her decision to make. I can say that I am thankful I made the decision now, but it took me years to get there. Try sitting down and listening to her reasonings and being supportive. I know first instinct is to be upset or view it as selfish, but you'll never have to make that decision yourself. Hard to be a mom when you're dead.
If you can't or won't be a single father, you need to tell her that now, in writing. And she needs to get a living well made. I think what she is doing is incredibly selfish, to you and the child.
Honestly, be harsh on this one and tell her outright that all she is doing is abandoning a kid cause you are either not going to keep it or keep it and hate it, which will not be a good environment for this child. Tell her she's right that she can be a mom, but that being a mom isn't solely based on giving birth, something she is not capable of doing.
If a cesarean is out of the question, she's going to have to come to terms with it eventually. While doctors are usually right, there is always a chance. Best you can do is be supportive. Sounds like this is made up. Why can't she get a C-section?
Ultimately, it is her choice and should respect and support that choice to the best of your ability. A bit more information should be presented, though, specifically that if she does die, she would be leaving you alone with a newborn child that has no mother. You'd have to decide whether you'd keep the child or if it would be given up for adoption. Really think on it before you have that conversation. Again, it's her choice and that should be respected and supported. Even with birth control, every time you have sex you run the risk of pregnancy. Nothing is 100%, so recognize your place in this as well. The point I'm making there is that is why you should also offer support.
For some reason I doubt this whole post. You likely don't know nothing about the human body, but figured this would be an easy karma post.
Sounds like time to get written into her will. This is a very difficult situation, and I am so sorry. Some women do choose to undergo pregnancy and childbirth even when they know they will likely not survive. Her doctor needs to make sure that your girlfriend fully understands the risk of this pregnancy. I think you need to explain to your girlfriend that you rather have her than have the baby. Counseling may be helpful to ensure you both are communicating effectively with each other. However, at the end of the day, it is her decision. I wish you luck. This is a mess. She's not acknowledging that she could die and leave you to raise a child on your own. Worst case scenario, they both die. Based on what you're saying, she may never be able to carry a child. This is a lot to handle. She needs psychiatric help. If I were you, I'd straight up tell her that you will give the child up for adoption in the event of her death. She's not doing what's best for herself, for you, or for the child. Don't let her poor choices ruin your life too.
It's her choice, man. If she fully understands the ramifications, then just accept she's doing what she feels is right and hope for the best.
I am sure you live her and you are scared for her. However, you don't get to decide for her, and that's really your problem. It was recommended to me to end my pregnancy for my health, and I also had severe HEG which had been hospitalized for the majority of my pregnancy. My sweet 10-year-old son is sitting right here next me. A doctor can put out a medical opinion, but it is up to the patient to decide what course of action to take. You're being condescending, and I am surprised your girlfriend hasn't told you to fuck off. Pregnancy with complications is hard enough without someone following you around telling you to abort or you will die. I've explained it to her many times, but she doesn't understand. Yes, she does understand, however, she has chosen to continue with her pregnancy and hope for the best. Not every woman chooses to have an abortion just because it's an option.
Get a second opinion from a knowledgeable doctor in this field, just to be more sure if this is truth.
You need to tell her a good mother would not just have a child to die shortly after having it. A good mother would make sure she is present for her child's life, not have a child on a whim. You need to be harsh in this case, because this selfish choice will scar any child she has for life. She could just know what she wants. Why do you even think you have a say? Sorry. Death is guaranteed, giving birth isn't. Let her live the way she wants so she may die accomplishing what she wants. It's not your life.
I think one of the best options here may be to have her go to another doctor for a second opinion. It may help her understand the gravity of the situation to hear it from another medical professional. I understand she wasn't intending to have children at this moment, but was it something she expressed as a desire? If she badly wanted a child, it can be hard to give that up despite your own life being in danger. A second doctor will be able to reassure how unsafe it is for her, or they might have a route for pregnancy with a reasonable risk.
I will tell you straight on, my mom lied to my father about skipping the pill. Then, during her second pregnancy, she dead right waited 4 months before telling my father the truth. I know how she was feeling. After a miscarriage of a second child, what would be my brother, my mother was kind of desperate. She always loved the idea of having many children. Yet, as middle-aged woman, this was a risky pregnancy. Abortion was illegal here, back in the early 1990s. Sometimes it's either Christian guilt or psychological guilt that shouldn't be there. Ultimately it's her choice, but as a child of a mom who was likely very much torn after my birth psychologically and physically, you don't want to be that single father taking care of a child who'll always be asked, "Where's mom?" by clueless, rude adults.
Why do you say she doesn't understand? Is she mentally disabled in some way?
You need to get real with her and your families. This is tough, but I would tell her then you all need to meet with both sets of parents and together. Discuss the reality of what the doctors have said and put together a plan for worst-case scenario. If she doesn't make it, what is the collective decision between raising the baby and visitation for both sets of grandparents? Worst case, you set it up and it forces her to look at the reality of what could happen if she doesn't survive this. Best case, it isn't needed. You are basically stuck with her decision here, but this is something that needs to be discussed and addressed no matter what. Good luck.
She can't be a mom if she's dead.
I almost died this week of an ectopic pregnancy. Worst experience of my life. It's not worth it if you're going to die, or even if there is a chance. I hope she decides against keeping it. I'm sorry for what you're going through.
This is not an answer that will be solvable on Reddit. There's too many nuances here that get lost when the Internet tries to analyze a deeply personal issue. I implore you get a second opinion by a doctor, then go to a licensed health professional, both together and separately if possible. Definitely together though at least. I'm so sorry that you and your girlfriend are going through this right now. I hope you both find peace with whatever the outcome is.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't an accident if this is her response to it.
I'm curious what these other health issues are. Here's a fairly comprehensive list, none of which say that maternal death is inevitable. nih.nic/topics/high-risk/condition-info/factors/nic.nic.gov/health/topics/high-risk/condition-info/factors-closing parenthesis. cdc.gov/reproductive-health/maternal-infant-health/pregnancy-complications.html closing square bracket opening parenthesis cdc.gov/reproductive-health/maternal-infant-health/pregnancy-complications.html closing parenthesis. Did you actually hear the doctor say this? Is your girlfriend prone to being dramatic?
Do a little more research before making up stories.
Perhaps you can arrange a meeting with a social worker, therapist, or even an empathetic doctor. Maybe they can break through and understand what her thinking is. It is at the end of the day her choice, but being able to talk through it with you is not too much to ask.
She can't be a mom if she's dead. Maybe talk to her about the scenario of her not surviving giving birth. I.e. 1. Tell her about how the thought of losing her tears you apart. 2. The fact that you would be responsible for taking care of the child alone. If you're not ready, you're not, and there's no shame in being honest about that. And there is no shame in talking about what your life would look like after the birth if she passes. 3. Complications could risk the babe's life just as much as hers. 4. If she is fully ready to risk it all, has she prepared, or is she preparing a funeral, cremation service for herself? Adoption. If that's an option, cashing out any retirement, 401k plans. A will. Assigned a power of attorney. Etc. If she hasn't, ask her why and tell her that she needs to figure all of this out if she plans to continue with a birth that will likely kill her. She can't put all of that responsibility on you or anyone else. That's extremely selfish of her if she did. Good luck, I wish you the best.
Tell her that you wish nothing more having a child from her, but her safety and health is your first priority, and if she need a child you can think about adopting a child. How do you feel about potentially being a single parent? Might want to consider options like adoptions if she dies. Try to tell her that you know that she would be an amazing mother and that you want her to be around to witness what you both accomplished together. I mean, is there even a possibility of going to another doctor to get a second opinion? I had one tell me one thing and another tell me something completely different before. One was right, the other was fired for malpractice. If it's something that is truly life or death, get a second opinion.